Different return man in 4 weeks for Montreal. Tim Maypre is back in the Alouette lineup. And Justin Medlock gets set to kick things off. Montreal will go on offense, but big news on defense. Ramon Guzman, a late scratch. Here we go. Eastern semi from the Big O is underway, and it is Maypre. Crashing up to the 35-yard line, a 24-yard return, and Anthony Calvillo leads the Alouette offense onto the field.
Broke 3 Canadian Football League records in 2011. He will have the leading rusher in the CFL in Brandon Whitaker as his lone setback in the backfield. There's the leading receiver in the CFL, over 1,700 yards for Jamel Richardson. And then the offensive line, and we talked about the changes. Jeff Parrott from right tackle to left tackle. Jarrell McCullough, the newcomer, at right tackle.
Starting lineup brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the Canadian Football League, and it's 8 teams. How do they bounce back after last week? Quick hitch, and nothing doing there. Ray Williams smothers the opening play from scrimmage by Montreal. Let's set that Cat defense.
Well, with the changes on the offensive line, don't be surprised at all to see Luke Mullender and Justin Hickman move around to see if they can get Hickman on the matchup they want, whether it be Jeff Parrott on his offside or McCullough, the newcomer. There's Jamal Johnson returning from injury to the linebacking core, and the guy that's going to have the responsibility of Jamel Richardson will be Bo Smith in the secondary.
Brian Bratton, no gain, 2nd and 10. Calvillo to throw, and looks downfield. Jamel Richardson just out of his reach as he was being tracked by D. Webb, and that's a matchup we'll be watching all day. Richardson, the leading receiver in the league, against D. Webb.
Now that time he got D. Webb on the field, and we let to look at this trench warfare between Justin Hickman and Jeff Parrott. Got to see that the Hamilton Tiger Cats early on are going to line Justin Hickman on Parrott to see how he adapts to the other side of the offensive line.
9 2-and-outs for the Alouettes last week in Vancouver. They opened with one here. Sean White's kick. And Thigpen on the return. And he'll get taken down by Darren Diedrich after a 50-yard punt. 3 yards on the return.
Kevin Glenn is 2-4 in playoff action. His 2 wins in 07 as a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He will have the former Montreal Alouette and Avon Coburn. A key to success on offense will be establishing Coburn. There is Chris Williams, the outstanding rookie and finalist in that category for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, over 1,000 yards for him. Mark DeWitt has played the back half of the season at center for Marwan Hayes, not available for this one.
Start just inside the 30, and they go to a hitch early, and Marcus Thigpen has a gain up to the 34, about 4 yards for the Ticats on their opening play.
Take a look at that Montreal defensive front four. John Bowman leads the way, 12 sacks on the season for him up front. No Ramon Guzman at middle linebacker. Bear Woods playing in his first game for the Alouettes, his playoff game, and then in the secondary, the only veteran is Billy Parker at halfback. The rest are newcomers to the lineup, other than DeAndre Dix, who's in his 2nd year.
Bear Woods with a tackle on the first play, and that pass incomplete. Thigpen was all tied up by Marc-Olivier Brouette. Looks for a flag, but none forthcoming. And 2-and-outs to open the game for both offenses.
Yeah, I think Kevin Glenn on that throw was just trying to draw a penalty flag. Well covered, the entire receiving corps downfield. Mentioned the battle between Avon Coburn and Brandon Whitaker. I really believe that'll be a key in this game. Who can establish that run?
Medlock the boot, and Maypre from his 35 beats the first man. And up across the 40-yard line, a 7-yard return with the flag, and a 41-yard punt. But a flag back at the line of scrimmage. Ticats will be called for procedure. Montreal with the option of taking another kick. But with pretty good field position, looks like they'll decline.
Procedure. Illegal formation, no end. Hamilton. That penalty is declined. First down, Montreal.
So Alouette football when we return to the Eastern Semi at Olympic Stadium. Well, defenses set the tone in the opening possessions of this game. Alouettes last week in Vancouver, 92 yards passing, 146 net yards in that thrashing. Here's S.J. Green with his first catch between Green and Richardson. 58 regular season grabs against Hamilton.
Clearly the offensive strategy at this point early on in the game is to get the ball out of Calvillo's hands quickly. Little play action to Brandon Whitaker, half roll, and then just drop it to S.J. Green, let him do the rest. And they're trying to give Jeff Parrott and those two tackles a chance to get off the ball and get a little bit of contact early on and get some confidence. That was one-on-one with Luke Mulliner that time.
Lions got to Calvillo 4 times last week with that revamped offensive line. Hamilton with 7 sacks in the 4 games this year. 2nd and 3, Brandon Whitaker. And Whitaker shoots his way for a first down close to midfield.
Another way you can help the tackles to get settled in, as Mark Trestman clearly is doing. Jeff Parrott's had a great year at right tackle, but this is one way to do it. You bring in a tight end. In this case, it's going to be Kerry Carter to widen that corner a little bit, get some help blocking for the tackles, and then also get the run game involved so those offensive linemen can fire off the ball rather than settle back and try and pass protect.
That Hickman-Parrott battle is well underway, as you can see. Outstanding player, top defensive player with the Tiger catch, Justin Hickman, tied for the league lead in sacks. Play action fake to Whitaker, and some room for good old Richardson. So you've just seen the leading rusher in the league, and from the leading passer to the leading receiver, it's a 14-yard pickup.
Boy, and the leading receiver, Chris, in almost every receiver category possible, including obviously yards, where 1,777 for Jamel Richardson. Doesn't just lead, but it blows the competition away.
And he missed a game with a sprained knee and told us yesterday 5 games played with a knee brace when it wasn't 100%.
And all 5 had over 100 yards.
14 there, first down. Calvillo looking for S.J. Green, incomplete as the pass sails high.
One thing that Marcel Belfay said to me yesterday was that in order for them to have success this afternoon, their defensive backfield is going to have to cover man-to-man and maybe have their best game. And that time, Marcel Young in great coverage down the field. Just a nice trail position and patience on S.J. Green. Good move off the line, but look at him recover, stay in that back pocket, and make it a perfect throw from Anthony Calvillo, the only way he could get beat.
Ticats have only surrendered 300 yards in a game passing once in the last 8 weeks. 2nd and 10. Calvillo scrambles out of the pocket looking for Brandon London. It's incomplete. And the Alouette drive stalls in Hamilton territory.
First of all, Anthony Calvillo looked like he had plenty of time to throw the football here. He uses his legs to bounce out, extend the play, and when he does end up getting outside, he has a lot more time than I believe he thinks he has. Watch him jump outside. Ray Williams is basically the closest guy to him, about 15, 20 yards away. He's got lots of time and just puts that one out of bounds.
So Sean White, who was hitting from 53 in warm-up with ease, will attempt from 49 yards out, his longest of the regular season, 48. Sean White's nailed it. And the top Canadian out of the East. It's Montreal up first quarter lead. 9-yarder for Sean White, who had an outstanding season. Alouettes with the lead. Marcus Thigpen and Chris Williams have dropped deep as the Ticats have opted to accept the kickoff. And it will be Thigpen from his 15. Marcus Thigpen gets outside. Mark Trestman talked about corralling Thigpen today, and you know, number 22 will be a focus. Avon Coburn
has to be. I finished 4th in the league in rushing, and that was the Hamilton Tiger Cats really going away from him in the last 8 games of the regular season. Just 69 carries in the back 8 games. He didn't play the last game of the year. They rested him, couldn't improve their position. But in those first 9 games, 125 carries, nice average, and was really established early in the season to open up play action for Kevin Glenn.
Haven't used him yet. They go with the sweep to the speedy Chris Williams, who heads upfield, gets to the 40, and has 6. Voted the fastest player in the Canadian Football League, and the top rookie in the East, Chris Williams.
Well, and in tandem with Avon Coburn, this is going to be what they're going to have to lean on, the Hamilton offense, because beyond that, they're pretty young in the receiving corps. But the former Montreal Alouette, who Mark Trestman said ran nasty against him during the regular season. Vicious, as a matter of fact, was the word he used.
That got our attention.
And Coburn's going to be a key for Hamilton this afternoon, although they haven't gone to him yet.
A little surprised in its second down. Go without Coburn this time. Pressure's on. And flag down. He gets out of the grasp of Bowman and throws. It's up. Complete, just short of the first down to Dave Stala. But a flag was flying in that offensive backfield.
Dave Stala is the only returning skilled position player on offense from last year's playoff game for Hamilton.
Catch would make it 3rd and 1, so the Alouettes deliberating on the options here.
Holding. Hamilton, number 67. Major foul, roughing the passer, low hit. Montreal, number 48. 5-yard offset, automatic first down.
Well, that's the newcomer, Bear Woods, the middle linebacker for Ramon Guzman, who hits Kevin Glenn low after the Diakowski hold.
Let's first show you Peter Diakowski here. It's going to be on John Bowman. He's going to try an inside move. Diakowski will hold him right there. There's the hold. Now the hit is low to Kevin Glenn as he tries to keep it alive and is able to do that from Bear Woods down below the knees.
Again, Woods playing in his first game. And a flag flies before this play gets off. And I'm guessing Bear Woods is tough. With that handle, you better be tough.
Out of Troy University, 6'2", 245, and up until late yesterday afternoon.
Procedure. Hamilton, number 67. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
So back-to-back infractions against Diakowski.
Late yesterday afternoon, Mark Trestman had told us that Ramon Guzman was ready to go and that he might not be able to finish the entire game, but he was going to start in the middle, and we may see Walter Spencer as well. Well, an hour before kickoff, Bear Woods got the call.
Here's Glenn throwing the out on 1st and 15, and the catch is made by Big Bakari Grant, who gets swarmed.
51 tackles on the season for Guzman, who had played the middle for Shea Emery, who was also almost available. Tried it in the warm-up.
Tim Tibesar, the defensive coordinator, watched the Guzman warm-up. Mark Trestman wasn't convincing yesterday to suggest that Guzman was going to play the whole game. But as it turns out, doesn't even get the start. 2nd and 9 for the Tiger Cats, and the shovel inside, and here goes Coburn, and Avon Coburn runs viciously into Alouette territory for a first down.
Well, not only does he give you that inside run presence on the shovel route here, as he's going to come underneath, come off the tackle, but watch the enthusiasm with which he runs. I mean, this is a guy that can be a leader, a real spark plug for the Hamilton offense, whether you give it to him on first down in the run game or in second down, a little shovel like that. He runs with, as Mark Trestman mentions, he runs vicious. He runs with great leadership.
One of those long handoffs they suggested. Now the counter to Thigpen, and Marcus Thigpen is away. Open road. Touchdown. 50-yard run for Thigpen, and the Ticats have the lead.
Another option for Marcel Belfay is to play both Avon Coburn and Marcus Thigpen in the backfield together. 22 to the right, number 8 on the left. Now, which one does the Montreal defense key on? A good block on the open field by Avon Coburn and Marcus Thigpen. Just great speed on the outside.
Outran the angle and beat Jeff Heck for the touchdown scamper. He had 82 yards rushing in 23 carries and rips off his biggest run of the year in the biggest game. Medlock the extra point, and Hamilton has the lead.
Don't give up that block on the end.
Medlock in after his superb season of kicking field goals, and doesn't miss here on his first of the game from 27 yards out. And a touchdown lead for Marcel Belfay and the Tiger Cats.
Mark Trestman, 48, 24, and 24 in the regular season. 3-0 in the playoffs, 2-1 in Grey Cup championships. Back-to-back looking to win 3 straight. But they've, in the last 2 years, played the final. 1 game to the Grey Cup. This year, they've got to go the long way.
You know, we spent a lot of time in the last 24 hours talking about what we expected here. You respect what this team has done over the last 2-3 years under Mark Trestman's leadership, but that game last week, it raised a lot of questions, and Hamilton has raised a lot of questions over their inconsistent performances the last 2 or 3 years as well. Well, the Ticats have come to play in this East Semi. By Medlock, and Ferry back at his 5, and Diamond Ferry gets dragged down just short of the 35-yard line.
Last week, Anthony Calvillo was pulled early in the 3rd quarter, sacked 4 times by the BC Lions in a 43-1 pounding. You mentioned the net yards, the passing yards, just 146, a season low for the Montreal Alouettes. You saw the frustration outwardly, something you haven't seen from Anthony Calvillo throughout his career. They had that players-only meeting, and that's happened on many teams. Not many times on this team, not in this decade. And it was the way they did it too, Chris, that was interesting. As a group offensively, each guy stood up and confessed his mistakes in the game so that they could get beyond it. They're struggling here early.
Double tight end formation, straight ahead, Brandon Whitaker up to the 40-yard line. Alouettes number 3 ranked rushing the ball against the number 8 ranked Ticat defense against the run.
Last game versus Hamilton, Corey Chamblin understands the importance of taking Brandon Whitaker, or at least trying to control Whitaker on 1st down.
Montreal 1 for 5 in 2nd down conversion so far. 2nd and 5, Calvillo the throw. Whitaker's got the catch and a 1st down. Ray Williams was there. And Brandon Whitaker gives Montreal a fresh set of downs with a 12-yard grab.
4 games against Hamilton, Whitaker didn't have a 100-yard rushing game, but his last one was his best. In this case, he's going to be out in the passing game as the 3rd receiver to the wide side of the field and just run that route on Ray Williams, which will be a matchup you can guarantee the Alouettes will go back to if presented with the same defense.
Whitaker led the league in rushing, as we've mentioned, but also receiving by a back with 72 catches. Back to Whitaker again, so pretty clear what the Alouettes' intent was on this drive. Get number 2 involved. That's the end of 1 quarter with the visitors leading by a touchdown. Stats after 15 minutes with the Tiger Cats leading 10-3.
Yeah, they're interesting because they look pretty even after the 1st quarter. The Thigpen 50-yard run, really the only difference in the running game between the 2 teams. But remember that big play that Chris Williams dropped, the deep ball from Kevin Glenn that was right on the money, a play he should have made, or the numbers look a little bit different.
Absolutely. So much focus on Kevin Glenn, 2 and 4 as a playoff performer, but he delivers the ball on the money. That should have been a 50-yard touchdown.
You know what's interesting? In the last 2 playoff games for Kevin Glenn for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it was 314 passing in the loss last year and 437 yards passing against the BC Lions in 09. So he has put up pretty big numbers, even though the Hamilton Tiger Cats haven't won a playoff game since 2001.
One Montreal turnover has cost them 3. Back to Brandon Whitaker, and they have established Whitaker on this drive, and that's another first down, courtesy of number 2.
Yeah, this is the way they can settle it down. Give their tackles a breather. Scott Milanovic can get manageable situations on second down, second and medium, second and short. That opens up the playbook, and it really establishes a physical presence for not only the offensive linemen, for Brandon Whitaker as well. It's been their most successful drive because number 2's involved.
Bratton in motion, first down at the 44. Again, Whitaker straight ahead inside the 40. Markeith Knowlton the tackle. Whitaker averaging 94 yards from scrimmage in each of the games against Hamilton. That about over 20 yards less than what he averaged against the rest of the league. So Hamilton had some success against Whitaker. They need to have success against him today.
And Corey Chamblin loves to play a lot of man-to-man defense, so that means the secondary can't help very much on the run. They've got their back turned.
2nd and 5. Calvillo downfield. Ball caught. S.J. Green in a matchup against Markeith Knowlton. And it's a 32-yard gain.
Safety Carlos Thomas gets caught a little shallow and can't help out Markeith Knowlton. This is a tough matchup for him on S.J. Green, who comes out of the backfield. He gets a good run on linebacker Markeith Knowlton. Now, Knowlton wants to be in the trail, which he is, because he feels he's going to get over-the-top help. And you can see Carlos Thomas gets caught a little shallow, but what a nice catch. S.J. Green stretching out.
Green 6th in the league in receiving, and it's 1st and goal. AC takes off and then hits the deck inside the 5. He did talk about running more today because it's sudden death. Luke Mullender with the tackle, just 2 rushes on the year against the Tiger Cats.
Well, during the week he was questioned by the media about maybe bouncing in the pocket a little bit, getting rid of it a little early, and he tried to eliminate that question immediately by saying, look, this is a playoffs. If I need to run, I'll run. No problem.
Excuse me, Luke Mullender with the tackle. 2nd and goal from the 4. Calvillo wide open, Bratton the catch, but loses his footing. It'll be 3rd and goal at the 2.
It's a tough decision here for Mark Trestman. You know it's tempting. And with the success on this drive they've had running the ball with Brandon Whitaker, it becomes that much more tempting. But conventional wisdom says kick a field goal.
Full 2 yards out, so White on to attempt the 9-yard field goal. Ricky Santos is the holder. They take 3, and the lead is now 4.
Parrott, and for the left tackle, that's a good thing.
Just 19 yards for Hamilton in the field position change after the short punt and the penalty against the Tiger Cats for no yards.
Moving over to that left side and playing very well. 12 of 16 plays. He's gone head-to-head with Justin Hickman. And one pressure early in the first quarter from Justin Hickman, causing problems for Anthony Calvillo. But other than that, a quiet afternoon for 95.
Milton Collins, the extra DB, with the tackle on that Whitaker gain of 4. 2nd and 6. S.J. Green to the wide side. Calvillo looked that way and now goes back. Smith, and Jamal Richardson said yesterday, watch out for 85. He's going to have a good game.
Coming off a career year for him, 675 yards, good blocking up front. Again, Jeff Parrott doing his job, taking Justin Hickman out and around, and then at the other end, the top end of the rope, Bratton comes up. But watch the blocking job by left tackle Jeff Parrott. Justin Hickman takes him wide, takes him way behind Anthony Calvillo. Hickman not a factor.
47 yards to Bratton. And it's a first down Montreal at the Hamilton 30. A pump one way, and Calvillo scrambles, throws, and in the corner, pass interference will be called. Bratton came up with it anyway as he continues the duel with Bo Smith inside the 5.
It's a term that Mark Trestman likes to use with his receivers, and it's contested throws. He knows the Hamilton defense.
Pass interference. Hamilton number 14. A penalty is declined. First down.
The Hamilton defense will play a lot of man-to-man. That's Bo Smith this time, and it's one-on-one on number 85, Brian Bratton, at wide receiver. And pretty good coverage. In fact, you can't be even any closer to the receiver than Bo Smith is there, but that's the contested part of the throw.
And first and goal from the 2. Touchdown. A big drive for the Alouettes and a quick one. 4 plays, 82 yards. Capped by the Whitaker touchdown.
Number 80 right now for the Ticats to see if he can get off the line of scrimmage with that ankle retake.
Second down, Glenn throws, it's caught. Dave Stalla, the former Alouette, with a first down, and he's inside the 30. Sticky gets 21, and another second down conversion by the Ticats on this drive.
Career high 8 touchdowns for Dave Stalla in the 2011 season, and is there better hands in the CFL than number 88? That ball out high and outside with a lot of heat on it. Stalla pulls it down. Key catch.
So inside the 30-yard line. Stalla number 4 among Canadian receivers this year, and 14 catches in his last 2 games. First down. Glenn sets up and looks downfield. It's a touchdown! McCurry Grant in the end zone. A perfect strike for Kevin Glenn. 29 yards.
Layered routes across the middle. And you're right, it's a perfect throw, Chris, because Kevin Glenn has time to step up in the pocket. Watch him half roll to his right, step up, step into this throw, and over the shoulder, McCurry Grant, the best catch of his young career.
What a great grab by the rookie. And that is the first touchdown pass tossed by Kevin Glenn in his last 137 attempts.
You remember his big block on the thick pen 50-yard run in the open field.
And Medlock the extra point, so the Ticats have regained a 4-point lead. John Bowman was shaken up on the McCurry Grant touchdown. Extends the drive inside the Hamilton 30. Here comes the heat. They got him this time. Nothing wrong with that. Marcel Young off the corner. And the Ticat fans who have made the trip like that.
Well, it's a good change-up by Corey Chamblin, defensive coordinator for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because Justin Hickman is going to drop, and they're going to load up the opposite side, bring pressure from the right side of the formation. Watch number 95 take a step, then drop into coverage. Anthony Calvillo hasn't seen much of that in the 4 games they played against this team, and he holds on to the ball a split second longer, and when he does, Marcel Young gets there.
Loss of 13, so that basically wipes out the penalty. Second down, more heat. Calvillo intercepted. It's picked up by Jamal Johnson. Breaks a tackle. He may run a while. Jamal Johnson down the sidelines. Cuts it back. And look at this. Jamal Johnson dropped inside the 5. A touchdown saver for defensive play of the day comes with under a minute to go.
And back-to-back plays for the Hamilton defense that caused problems for Anthony Calvillo is due to pressure. And it'll be pressure that causes a problem for him again here. Luke Mulliner with a push from the outside. In the middle, Robert Rose gets a good bull rush, closes down the pocket on Calvillo. That ball comes out of there as a quail, and Jamal Johnson is off to the races. Now, if you're an Owls fan, mark the effort by Jamel Richardson. We'll see what happens in the next couple of downs right here.
Absolutely.
But mark the effort from Jamel Richardson to hustle back and save the touchdown. But look at that pocket just collapse. What a bull rush inside by Robert Rose.
Big guy out of Ohio State. Jamal Johnson's first interception of the year. Looked like he might have been end zone bound. How many points does Richardson save with that great second effort? Quentin Porter comes in. Short yardage team. Two backs. Second man through is Coburn. And Avon Coburn, not much. Bear Woods.
Now, I think those plays are huge. Now, this down, it'll come down to what happens here on second down. And Jamel Richardson could be a difference maker. We'll go back late in the fourth. See what happens on this down right here.
Jamal Johnson was flashing the bling yesterday. He wore his 2006 Grey Cup ring with the BC Lions to inspire him and his teammates. Big play here, second and goal. Fake to Coburn. Porter into the end zone. Touchdown, Dave Stalla. Quentin Porter with a touchdown toss. And the former Alouette celebrates as Hamilton extends their lead.
Quentin Porter took his time. He had two options. He had fullback Darcy Brown out of the backfield, and Dave Stalla was the deeper option. Little pressure in his face, and he keeps his composure, goes to the deep threat, and Dave Stalla at the back of the end zone. Nice catch by 88.
Yeah, Jake, buddy, that's for you, man.
Jake Rayner, who's watching, has inspired the Ticats with his story. A young teenager who's suffering with cancer, and the Ticats spoke with him earlier today. He's been an inspiration.
He really has. Jacob Rayner, and he likes to be called Jake, is in the hospital watching with his mother, Natalie, right now. And Dave Stalla,
yes! Gotta keep it going, though.
Gave him a signed
Jake, we told you
jersey.
get you one. Go for it.
And his mother, Natalie, had said that it was the first time that Jake smiled in months. He's in it tough against cancer, and both he and Kevin Glenn went to say hi, and the entire team before the game put Jake on speakerphone. He's been an inspiration, and he said the entire team said hello to Jake and his mother Natalie back in Hamilton, and they've been inspired to go and play their best for Jake. So a special hello to him.
And
another half, man. This ain't done.
Special emotional bond between Jake and Dave. So we'll excuse the language that
I know. Let's get it back.
might offend some.
Yeah, hey, that's what we need. We need plays, man. We need plays.
Medlock booting it, and just over a half minute left here in the first half. Maypray trying to prime the Alouettes perhaps for one more chance to score up to the 40-yard line, but one more look at the Stalla major.
Now, I mentioned the two options. One option, Darcy Brown. One option, two options, Dave Stalla. That's the second. Brown comes out of the backfield, and he'll be the short one. Now, it's the composure of Quentin Porter now. He's got lots of time. He's got one target here, and he's got to wait for Stalla to get open in the back of the end zone and get away from that outside goalpost. Once he does that, he drops it to the outside shoulder, and Stalla uses his body to make that catch.
Like he had a shot at Darcy Brown, too. Went with the more established target. And now Calvillo with 26 seconds left, down by 11. Wants to cut into that. Pass is complete underneath. London another grab. He'll get out with the pass scored to Marcel Young, 19 on the clock, and a 9-yard gain.
And right now, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, even though Calvillo has found Brian Bratton, he's found Brandon London, Scott Milenovich has got to figure out a way to start to get the football to Jamel Richardson. Made the big tackle to at least give his defense a chance on that interception by Jamal Johnson. But he has just one catch, Chris, in this first half. So far, the Hamilton defense has taken him out of the game.
2 for 5 last week against the Lions. They need about 15 to get into field goal range here. 2nd and a yard. And Calvillo unloads downfield. Jump ball. And guess who's got it? Jamal Richardson wins those battles just about every time.
The way they get it to him is to give Calvillo enough time so that he can run a double move, because what he's going to do is go corner and then down the rail. Jamel Richardson needs time to execute this kind of pass route. Watch the corner move there. He gets to the sideline, then turns it up on Lois Means. And all season long, Marcel Young, and all season long, AC's been going to that matchup.
41 yards. That pass for Whitaker sailed over the helmet before he turned. And so with 1 second left, surprised they didn't just throw to the end zone there. They had one play and missed Whitaker coming out of the backfield, and White will come on to go for 3.
You're right, Chris, because if he makes that catch and is tackled inbounds, they may not have a chance to go for this. Likely AC threw that away on purpose.
26-yard attempt. And Sean White puts it through. So it'll be a 1-possession game at the half. It's an 8-point Hamilton lead in a well-played opening 30 minutes of the Eastern semifinal. And they come from behind here on home turf today. Not much for Marcus Thigpen as he gets steamrolled downfield. There was Seth Williams along with Darren Diedrich as Thigpen was stationary and dropped at the 25.
Take a look at what Kevin Glenn did in the first half. 10 of 14, 106 yards. Had a big one drop to Chris Williams in the first quarter. Numbers would have been a lot better, but no interceptions. Avoiding the turnover, Chris Schultz mentioned at halftime, which is very important for Kevin Glenn. I mentioned in the last 2 playoff games for Hamilton, he's been over 300 yards in both, but the turnover was the issue. He's avoided that in the first half.
They start with Coburn. And Avon close to 5 up near the 30-yard line. Tiger Cats with only 2 road wins on the season. And in the last 3 years, Marcel Belfay's team has been at 500 17 different times.
Let's take a look at rookie sensation Chris Williams and see if he is running well on an ankle that had to be retaped in that first half.
2nd and 5. And they're going to go deep for Carter. Matt Carter, and incomplete. Looked like he had a step in behind DeAndre Dix. But Dix recovers, and it's a long, loud incompletion.
Yeah, not only does he recover, but he recovers well enough and composed enough to turn, look back at the football, and back into Matt Carter rather than interfere with him facing the downfield direction. That could draw the penalty flag. Watch him turn, good composure, then he puts his hands up. No penalty.
What a great kick by Medlock, and it bounces down for Mavray, who finally drops on it at the 36-yard line, and no flags. Let's check Anthony Calvillo's numbers through 30 minutes.
228 yards, on pace for a 400-yard passing game. The one interception to Jamal Johnson, a big one. He had just given up a sack on first down, went to try and throw on second. Jamal Johnson set up the Dave Stala touchdown on his interception.
Well, Dave Randorf mentioned it. It's a different script here at Olympic Stadium this year in the postseason. The last 2 years, they outscored their opponents 104 to 35 in playoff action. And in the last 3, 140 to 61. where the Alouettes have feasted here at the Big O.
Well, like Avon Coburn told us right out of the gate in warm-up when he looked into our camera and said they can't just win one game and get to the final this year. So even if they can come back, Mark Trestman's crew can come back in this semifinal, they've got to go through Winnipeg to get there. And that is a very different script for the Alouettes.
Might have a few viewers in Winnipeg today taking notes.
I think so.
In Swaggerville, 2nd and 7. Calvillo steps up and takes off, and he's going to run for the first down. Well, he said we might see more of it today, and that's a key 8-yard run for Calvillo to move the chains.
Well, just take a look at how Anthony Calvillo goes through his reads and doesn't find the receiver he likes. There's one there. Go ahead and run it, guys. He doesn't like that side. He goes over here, 2. No, 3 down the middle. Nothing there. Go ahead and run it. Keep it running. And then he goes and said the 4th option is to take off and run. And even with Jamal Johnson bearing down, gets the first down.
First down. Pass is incomplete in the area of Jamal Richardson.
Boy, and one of the matchups we wanted to set up in that first half with Jeff Parrott moving from right tackle to left tackle. He's played a great game against Justin Hickman primarily throughout this game. Luke Mullender occasionally. In this case, it's Mullender. And look at the dominance there. Just does not let Mullender anywhere near his quarterback. We talked about Trestman at halftime saying that he needed to make those adjustments at halftime. Help with protection. But Jeff Parrott's been solid.
Big guy to Lethbridge. Replacing Josh Bork on that side. Bork out for the rest of the year. Here comes Heat. Calvillo shook that off. And now incomplete. Brian Bratton was out of bounds. Stepped back in. And I'm not sure that would have counted anyway. But it's an incompletion. And Mark Trestman's crew has to send the punt team on.
Remember when Trestman said we're going to shore up some protection things? Well, watch this. This is the matchup again. Jeff Parrott. Now watch what they're going to do with Brandon Whitaker. Take Whitaker outside, little chip there to help out Parrott, let him set up his block. Therefore, Justin Hickman's not an issue for Anthony Calvillo. He misses the throw, but the protection on that side, solid.
That was Milt Collins on the blitz who missed Calvillo. Here's Thigpen at the 18. Jeff Hecht there, he hurdles Hecht and gets brought down across the 25. So still an 8-point Ticat lead early, 3rd quarter. Take you in the huddle as the Ticats go back to work on offense. Their 2nd possession of the 2nd half. Starting at their own 27. Play action fake, and now they dump it off, and Coburn got closed down by Bear Woods, the middle linebacker replacing the injured Ramon Guzman.
One guy we haven't talked about much on that Alouette defense has been the linebacker pairing of Chip Cox, Diamond Ferry. Diamond Ferry was nicked in the BC game, but has practiced all week. And Chip Cox was blocked well on that Marcus Thigpen run of 50 yards for a touchdown. He's been a guy they've relied on to make that big play when the Alouette defense needs it most.
6 for Coburn, 2nd and 4. Inside it goes, and there is a hard run by Coburn for a big first down. And the Tiger Cats go over 100 yards rushing on the day.
This is the definition of when Mark Trestman said running vicious. This is the definition of running vicious. Watch Avon Coburn against Bear Woods in the middle. Step up, right in position, and he delivers a blow.
Big first down conversion. Tiger Cats are 5-0 this year. They're rushing for over 100. Big to Coburn and a wide open McCarrigan. And who has a touchdown catch in this game, wrestled out by Chip Cox, but he's in Montreal territory at the Alouette 42.
Play action here to Avon Coburn buys Kevin Glenn just a little bit more time as he's going to roll out and then be patient and wait for Grant to come across the formation and be in that second layer in front of the defensive secondary, but in behind the linebacking core. But the play action was the extra second Glenn needed.
28 for Grant. And a first down on the fringe of field goal range for Hamilton. Chris Williams with a cutback. Breaks the tackle. And then gets brought down. Forward progress should be close to the 40. And just a couple for Chris Williams.
Kahari Jones knows that, what you talked about, the importance of Coburn, the importance of a running game for a pocket quarterback like Kevin Glenn. 5-0 when they're over 100 yards rushing. They've won one of their last 5 to end the regular season. In those 5, they didn't have a 100-yard rushing game.
Second and 8. Glenn looks for Williams and overthrows him by a stride. That's the second time Chris Williams has got in behind coverage.
You know, though, Chris, when I watched Chris Williams on that post, it didn't look like he was able to adjust and straighten it up and go up the seam, adjust to that football. And I'm not sure if it's his ankle. I don't want to give him an alibi. But he has been able to make adjustments on the fly much better than that during the regular season.
Maybe Kevin Glenn was throwing at the Chris Williams speed he's used to all season long.
No question.
So Medlock from 47 out, trying to make it a 2-score lead for Hamilton. Main play waits in the end zone, but Medlock won't give him a chance to bring it out. Ticats extend their lead here in the third quarter. I'm still not sure what the right call is, but I'm not sure we saw anything conclusive
to overturn it. That's what.
Here we go. Second and goal. Calvillo into the end zone. A battle and a pass interference call as S.J. Green was wrestling with Lois Means. It'll be first and goal at the 1.
Interference. Hamilton, number 29. The infraction took place in goal. A first down on the 1-yard line.
Well, let's say this about the play of Lois Means and this Hamilton secondary. They're making it tough. That was marginal pass interference call. The last right hand on the forearm of S.J. Green, I think, did it.
Adrian McPherson, short yardage team, sneaks, touchdown. And the Alouettes get back within a major score. Clutch drive here late, third quarter. And it may end up being a contentious 1-2.
Now the importance now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats is not to dwell on whether it was a good call, bad call, or whatever. It's behind them now. S.J. Green fought in the back of the end zone to draw the flag after that close call that overturned what looked like a fumble.
Shot right the extra point, and it's a 4-point deficit for the defending Grey Cup champs. But prior to all that, there was a great chess match you talked about, and a terrific drive engineered by Calvillo and called by Scott Milanovich.
And a drive like that takes time. So now Corey Chamblin's challenge, after seeing what happened in that last series and using the wide side of the field to Brandon London. Now he's got to determine, do they stay with man and maybe lock up Royce Means on Brandon London on the outside and send some pressure? He's talking to Jamal Johnson, the linebacker, right now, which would indicate to me they may look to try and get some more pressure. And then what does Scott Milanovich have to answer that?
7 plays, 73 yards, just under 5 minutes, 4:51. The time of this scoring march by Montreal with a minute 20 left in the third quarter. Kickoff, and Thigpen ready to rock. suddenly the momentum turning. Ticats looking to the bench to say, you got to challenge it. And we'll find out if Marcel Belfait does just that.
Was it Jeff Heck with the big play? Let's take a look. Marcus Thigpen, very similar situation, and I think Marcel Belfait will likely challenge this as well. I mean,
no question, and this one won't take as long.
I don't think so either. He gets hit here, has control, or does he? But looked pretty clean right there. He's down right now by contact. The ball does not look loose, but it is hidden in front of him on that view. And there was one side view that looked like it shifted in his arms as he was going down.
So in the space of 4 or 5 plays, it goes back to Toronto for some critical calls. Twice. Jeff Hecht, who's pressed into service in his rookie year as a starter.
Hamilton is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble. We'll review the play.
Thigpen's second effort looked like he was going to be stopped 5 yards short, rolled off, and in his effort to gain more yardage, may have turned it over. Kerry Carter there.
You could see as Thigpen was going down, the ball was shifting in his left arm, but was it shifting enough again to constitute the fact that he's lost control of it?
Thought it was clearly down here, but you're right.
Well, he doesn't completely lose it, Chris, until he is well down. I mean, that's way after the fact.
But is that shift enough?
Right there. See, the ball is shifting, but still under his arm.
Certainly under his arm.
And now he is down on his hip right there. Boy, that's back to back, that close. 2 calls that are almost identical.
After review, the ball will be placed at the 39-yard line. It will be Hamilton ball. Player is down by contact.
And a similar ruling made.
Hamilton will not be charged the timeout, although they do not have any more challenges remaining.
So both teams win a critical challenge here in the space of a minute or so. And Marcel Belfait could breathe a little easier.
And at both times, the ruling from Toronto, and Jake Ireland basically gave the benefit of the doubt to the ball carrier. Both Brandon Whitakers and Marcus Thigpen.
Ticats start double tight end, and they amp up the noise. Fake to Coburn, pitch into the hands of Williams. And Chris Williams, who has had a sketchy day, just drew a face guard penalty as well, and there's flags all over.
That's a big throw, and for more reasons than one, that Kevin Glenn got the ball to Chris Williams. Since his drop in the first quarter on a deep ball.
Major foul, face mask. Montreal number 40. 15 yards from the end of the play, automatic first down.
Diamond Ferry.
Since his drop in the first quarter, Kevin Glenn has gone deep to him twice, and he has come up short on both incompletions. And I just wonder about the confidence level of a young rookie. There's the face mask by Diamond Ferry, no question there. That catch alone may go a long way to restoring some of that confidence.
Now down to the Alouette 45. There's Thigpen with the bubble out there. Get away from Stewart, but then gets dropped by Seth Williams. Couple of yards on the play, but he avoided a loss as Anwar Stewart was into the backfield quickly.
And if Chris Williams gets that confidence back, it looks like he's running well, then Marcel Belfait and this offense, Kahari Jones, can go back with Thigpen in the backfield along with Avon Coburn as an option, which is a big part of the game plan they had coming in, but had to abandon it when Chris Williams was a little wobbly.
Marc-Olivier Brouillette replaces Jeff Hecht at safety. 2nd and 7. They are close to field goal range. Glenn looking for more than that, and this one is intercepted. DeAndre Dix picks it off. And the Cats squander a chance to add to their lead. Final play of the third quarter, a big takeaway by Montreal. Here are the numbers after 3 quarters after that key turnover by Hamilton on the final play of the third.
You know, we talked about the run game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Over 100 yards. They have won every game they've done that. Over 100 yards, 5-0. But the Montreal Alouettes, when they win the time of possession, 90% of the time they win. So it's going to be a great fourth quarter, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
You know, with the exception of the Grey Cup game in 2008, usually the playoff games here at the Olympic Stadium can be over after a quarter or two. This one very much in the balance in the fourth quarter.
Very different script, as you guys have mentioned, for the Montreal Alouettes to not only have to go through the semifinal, but have to come back in this game. They've been down for the most part, and to have to do it, you know, in the fourth quarter. This is something they are not accustomed to at all.
Going to take another look at that interception thrown by Kevin Glenn, but first, Calvillo and company, first down at the 15. S.J. Green on a swing away from Royce Means and runs into Ray Williams, who tosses him down as he gives up some yards. But let's take a look at how Montreal got the ball.
Marcus Thigpen on the DeAndre Dix interception loses the football, and because he's not a real experienced receiver, he's a running back first, a receiver second. When you lose the football, find the guy covering you, because he'll go get it. And Marcus Thigpen lost the football, and he lost Dix. Dix kept his feet in bounds, and that's a turnover.
The end of that play was well done by Dix to make sure he had a foot in bounds after the juggle. Second down, and Calvillo incomplete, knocked out of the hands of Richardson by Markeith Knowlton. And so the Hamilton defense rallies for a 2-and-out after the giveaway by the offense.
Boy, there are so many battles going on within this game. This secondary and linebacking core playing great coverage on two of the best receivers in the Canadian Football League, and Jamel Richardson the best, and S.J. Green. Tremendous coverage there. There's the protection issue up front. Jeff Parrott playing excellent for the Montreal Alouettes.
High snap, and White is able to pull that down and get it away. No pressure on from Hamilton. Here's Thigpen, and he gets outside. Marcus Thigpen across midfield and dropped at the Montreal 48. Great field position after the 17-yard return.
When great players make a mistake, they come back and make up for it on the next play. That's what Marcus Thigpen just did on that 17-yard return.
They've set it back up for Hamilton. First down inside the Montreal 50. It's Coburn. Straight ahead for a couple as Anwar Stewart makes the tackle.
Marcus Thigpen, the intended receiver on the DeAndre Dix interception. He gets the ball on the punt return. Watch this. Great move on Darren Diedrich in the open field. Looked like he's caught there for about a 7-yard gain. Bounces it. Good speed up the sideline. 17-yard return gives his quarterback real good field position.
Ticats have converted just once on 5 second downs here in the second half. They were 5 for 10 in the first half. Second and long. They go to Perry Grant. And Perry Grant trying to battle for the first down. Won't do it. But that'll set up what should be a 49-yard field goal attempt for Justin Medlock.
Yeah, that extra effort from Grant took a little pressure off his kicker, if anything. Because when he caught it, it would have been about a 53, 54-yarder. And anytime you are 50 or beyond, the kicker can start to feel that pressure. But a little extra effort, another 4, 5, even 6 yards there from Grant. Medlock's inside of 50.
Waits in the end zone. The left footer has done it again. Boy, the field goal kicking in this league this year has been spectacular.
Corey Grant, Jamel Richardson from Battles, and Jamal Johnson.
Here's Calvillo over the middle. Delorier, untouched.
Thomas declares early that he is coming out of the middle. To the left of your screen, number 4 is the safety. Comes out of the middle. No one covers Delorier at the slot back spot to the left of Calvillo, and he outruns the pursuit of Lois Means.
The man who caught the touchdown for Anthony Calvillo's record setter has a bigger touchdown here in a playoff game. Tie game. And still 12 minutes plus to go.
With what I see here, Chris, the Hamilton Tiger Cat safety Carlos Thomas went to the wrong side. Delorier's the inside receiver. There's one cover guy, 2 cover guys, and 1, 2, 3 receivers for the Alouettes to the field. No one walks out on Eric Delorier. I have to believe safety Carlos Thomas went to the wrong side of the field. And you can see him turn and realize it, number 4 to the right of your screen.
He's been in that safety spot for a month, and he's made a difference there. But what might be a critical mistake.
1, 2 here, and you've got 1, 2, 3 covering here. That's the mistake. Carlos Thomas, the safety, went to the wrong side of the field and left Delorier on the top, absolutely uncovered. There's the safety gone to the wrong side.
So Eric Delorier, with 7 catches now in the year, and 3 have gone for touchdowns. And that's his biggest 75-yarder. He tied Thigpen. Outside. Sean White's going to have to bring him down and get some help from Briette. A 40-yard burst by Thigpen, who has been terrific here to set up field position for Kevin Glenn.
You draw up the defense, and the defense drawn up was pressure, and all he needed, Corey Chamblin, was for Carlos Thomas to go to the field side and cover down on Eric Delorier. And as soon as that defensive coordinator got Carlos Thomas to the sideline, he had that discussion with him. Just went the wrong way.
Gives the Ticats great field position, little shuttle across the middle, and Coburn drags for a first down just inside the 40-yard line before he's pulled down 11 yards. And Kevin Glenn took a hit at the end of the play, and Quentin Porter's going to have to come in.
Take a look and see what happened to Kevin Glenn on the play. He had to step up and wait for Coburn to get loose from the line of scrimmage, so he takes a hit there from both Anwar Stewart and John Bowman.
Yeah, defensive end sandwich Glenn, and he remains down, and this is one of the reasons late in the year with the Ticats out of the race for anything higher than third. Marcel Belfay wanted to make sure that his other quarterback was ready in case he was needed. And Quentin Porter is needed right now as Kevin Glenn remains down. Goal from the 4. Here's Coburn. Nothing. Bounces off. Avon Coburn. And more flags fly as he's dropped at the 2. Wouldn't go down. Second effort. And is it another face mask against the Owls?
And it might be back-to-back against Chip Cox. You know, most running backs cannot afford to hesitate down in the goal line.
Major foul, face mask. Montreal, number 11. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
First to goal at the 1.
Not a big deal in yards because of where they were, but it is because they get that first down now on the 1-yard line. And Avon Coburn is one of those backs that can get away with hesitating on the sideline and still make something happen, or excuse me, on the goal line and still make something happen.
Not much question about the call either.
No.
First and goal at the 1. Darcy Brown's the fullback. Coburn behind him. And Porter lunging touchdown. Ticats are back in front.
It's a gamble to do that, but Quentin Porter got such a good surge. He could reach across with that football, but as soon as you extend it away from your body, you're taking a gamble that the defense could swat it out of your hands before it crosses the plane. But he got a good surge, and there's the ball clearly across before he loses control.
9 touchdowns in the regular season. He's passed for 1. Now he runs for 1 here. That's an impressive response by the Ticats after the breakdown in coverage on the last Montreal possession. It's once again a 7-point lead. (37-30) with over 10 minutes to go.
See you soon.
Welcome to the CFL playoffs.
Let's go back to the big play on that drive was Chris Williams, and that first play for Quentin Porter. Bakari Grant is going to head up the field with Marcus Thigpen so that Chris Williams can hide in behind, and what it does is it causes Billy Parker just enough hesitation. Stop it there, guys. Billy Parker just hesitates because he sees Grant. It gets in his vision. Then he reacts up, and by then he's lost his angle. But the right read by Quentin Porter has to come off the bench for a banged up Kevin Glenn. Throws it right on the money to Williams. That sets it up. And a good response, as you mentioned, Chris.
Hi, honey. See you soon. Give Baby Lotus a kiss for me. We're going to come home with a win.
Now, technically speaking, Kevin Glenn has been out for 3 plays, so we'll have to watch him on the sideline and see if it'll be Quentin Porter or Glenn in the next series. Though I don't see Glenn with his helmet anywhere near him.
Headlock launches. Maypray inside his 5. And Maypray with a good return and then gets dropped by Ray Marius back out of retirement. And he has been a welcome addition back. The veteran Tiger Cat linebacker with a special teams tackle.
Now this Hamilton secondary, Chris, has got to shake a bad play. I mean, the big touchdown throw to Eric Delorier, Corey Chamblin's group's got to now settle down. It's a young group back there. And the key here is to not allow one mistake turn into 2. So now Carlos Thomas got to settle things down. Now, will they show a lot of zone defense and get organized?
Brandon Whitaker sets up at wide receiver. Kerry Carter stays in. And here's Calvillo swinging for Richardson. And he's got it. They ball the football and then ends up with plenty of extra yards.
But it starts out, Chris, with D. Webb giving Jamal Richardson lots of room. And again, when you've made a bad play in the secondary, this is natural to go ahead and give the receivers more room on the next series because you don't want to get beat deep again. So it starts out that way with D. Webb giving Richardson lots of room underneath. Go ahead and run it. Now, Richardson gets a little lucky after the catch, but look at the cushion that D. Webb gave him. That ball came out, bounced right back up to him.
26-yard pickup, first down. Whitaker, inside run. Dropped at the 42-yard line. There's Jamal Johnson with another tackle. All kinds of time to trade touchdown marches yet. So no panic in the defending champions huddle.
And we have not mentioned Justin Hickman since the first quarter, Chris. And again, I keep going back to it because it's so difficult. Chris Schultz will tell you how tough it is to change from one side of the O-line to the other. It's been Jeff Parrott against Justin Hickman all game.
On the backfield, there's S.J. Green as he came out of that scatter on the wide side and ends up with a first down run on the short side of the field.
And he had to make the one-man miss to get there. No pressure on Calvillo. He can hesitate and make sure that S.J. Green clears the linebacker. Watch him on the play action. Wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec. Then he's clear. Now he can dump it off to him. One guy has to be beat. That's Bo Smith on the play. S.J. Green picks up first down territory.
Ten-yard gain for S.J. Green. Carlos Thomas, the safety, shaken up on the play, so Milt Collins will come in to take his spot.
It will be Milton Collins, the former Calgary Stampeder.
So first down, Alouettes at the 31. Take to Whitaker, and again, London. Similar play as the last to S.J. Green. And the Alouettes are rolling. 16 for Brandon London.
Hamilton getting their linebackers in tight. Look at Jamal Johnson in tight. There's Ray Williams all the way to the other side of center. That's going to allow the leverage for the Alouettes to get outside, whether it be Brandon London, whether it be Brandon Whitaker, S.J. Green on the last play. As the linebackers keep moving into the interior of the defense, they're using the outside edge.
First down, and Whitaker short yardage inside.
And there's your answer, Chris, as to why Jamal Johnson, Ray Williams are so concerned between the tackles, because of number 2.
Seen some good-looking drives for Montreal today where it's as if they have these sequences planned, and this has been this bunch formation drive, although not in it here. Second and almost 10. Calvillo, touchdown. Jamel Richardson uncovered. A 14-yard touchdown strike. And we're a point after away from being tied at 37.
Protection, protection. Calvillo gets pressure from his left. Hamilton going with a corner blitz, and Marcel Young picked up well enough to give him time to go to the field in a wide open Jamel Richardson.
He asked us yesterday, who are they going to put on me at crunch time? Well, they didn't have anybody on him there. And the game is tied.
That point where you got to believe, you got to take advantage of this kind of field position right now. Because you know, with the veteran Anthony Calvillo, quarterback who has thrown for more yards than any quarterback in pro football history, he's going to get another chance. He's going to move the ball again. It's time right now for the Ticats.
Out of a double tight end formation, that pass complete, the flat. There's Chris Williams, who has had a significant impact in the second half after a shaky debut in his first playoff game. In the opening half of play, 7 yards.
Play call made by Kahari Jones.
So it's a 1 for 7 second half, second down conversions. A big one upcoming.
Lots of choices here. Could even run the ball here.
Coburn's got big yards and a foot race. Still going. Touchdown. A spectacular touchdown run of 46 yards for the former Alouette.
And he's got to go and give that ball for that touchdown to Belton Johnson, Simeon Rotier, and Mark side of the offensive line. And they're the ones who are going to spring him. Look at that right side. He hits the hole full speed. They wash out that side, and look at the hole for Avon Coburn. And Bakari Grant on John Bowman on the backside gets away with a bit of a hold.
Yes, he does. Headlock. Had to double clutch there, but puts the extra point through. Is not enough. Well, he spoke to the team prior to day 2, and he has spoke volumes here today. That touchdown going to stand up. Tim Mapray up to the 30-yard line. Let's join Sarah Orleski.
Chris, yesterday I spoke to Avon Coburn and asked whether or not there was pressure on this offense to put up a large number of points. This is a team that was 1-10 in the regular season when they didn't score at least 30. So what did he do before that last series? He came up to me, pointed to the scoreboard and said, you see that? We got at least 30. Then he goes out there and adds to it. It's currently 44-37.
He does like to call his shots. And I guess there's a reason he's him.
And there's a reason why Hamilton signed him.
Yep.
Ball in your court, AC. And away goes S.J. Green. Up to the 50-yard line.
Let's go back, because you heard Avon Coburn say, O-line, holler at the O-line. Look at this as they just slide down, and then Bakari Grant will come in here and he'll pick up the trailer, the backside guy in John Bowman. So slide to the right, Rotier, DeWitt right here. Great block at the point of attack, and on the backside, a bit of a hold, but right there in the line of scrimmage, you get away with that more than you won't.
Here's Calvillo in trouble under duress, scrambling, throwing, and completing to Brandon London. Mentioned only once this year, Brandon London over 50 yards, but he has been a regular target here today with 5 catches of, check that, 4 catches of over 10 yards, and that one worth another 7.
At the end of that play, Chris, Anthony Calvillo talked to Brandon Whitaker about his protection issues there.
2nd and 3. Out of the backfield is Whitaker. He is dropped by Bo Smith. When we talked to AC yesterday, he felt that most of the problems in BC initially were because they were not getting Whitaker into the backfield as a 2nd or 3rd option.
Well, they can get him out of the backfield if they can get their tackles blocking the way they need to be. And right at the top of your screen, Jeff Parrott is going to be one-on-one again on Justin Hickman. 13 sacks on the season, and we haven't heard from Hickman this afternoon.
Lots of time again, and an open man. He's got S.J. Green. Let's go. They just keep trading punches.
CFL football at its best.
44-yard touchdown. A minute 37 left.
Lots of time for Calvillo because Justin Hickman doesn't come and he doesn't drop either. He stands in nowhere's land covering grass. That gives Calvillo lots of time. He doesn't have to worry about any pressure from the side that he wants to throw the football, and that was his left to S.J. Green, who does the rest.
White to tie it again. If you joined us late, you'll be able to catch this on ESPN Classics one day. What a football game it's been, and we've still got a lot left.
Oh, we do. And I just want to show you this game that's been going on. Justin Hickman hasn't been able to get pressure, so occasionally Corey Chamblin will drop him and get him underneath any throw or drop him wide. This time, no, Hickman doesn't come on the blitz or on the rush, and he doesn't drop either. So he's really covering nobody here. No pressure in the throwing lane to Anthony Calvillo. He doesn't get underneath S.J. Green outside, and there is absolutely no pressure there. It allows Calvillo to hit it to Green, put it right on the money, and S.J. Green does the rest, cutting back. Second receiver inside, Brian Bratton brings his split right down to give him some room. And see, if Hickman drops here and at least gets in the passing lane, it may be a little more difficult of a throw. He doesn't. Too close to the line of scrimmage and yet not rushing.
Out of the grasp of D. Webb and into the end zone. And now the Ticats have 2 goals to score. They will lead position. Let's find out where they rule he stepped out. Mark Trestman was concerned about Dick Bent's returns today, and they have been a factor for setting up Kevin Glenn with great field position throughout.
Well, that's huge. I mean, that's a big run. Kevin Glenn now 3 first downs away from a field goal, does not have to deviate from his game plan at all. Kahari Jones can keep Avon Coburn involved, and success on first down. The next 3 plays, 3 or 4 first downs here are huge.
Down at the 43-yard line, so that's close to Medlock range, a 21-yard pickup. Justin Medlock, so reliable this year. And perfect on the day. Looking at a 41-yarder to send Hamilton to Winnipeg.
And the one thing about that deep handoff is it did allow Coburn to get the ball close to the middle of the field for Justin Medlock.
Sean White is in the end zone in case he has to kick it out. They've lost twice in this game at home. Now trying to create the huge upset at the Olympic Stadium, man. Are they taking too much time? How did they not get the playoff?
Time count violation. Hamilton, number 16. That's a 10-yard penalty. Will be 3rd down.
Puts that much more pressure on Justin Medlock. Jason Boltus, the holder on the play, has got to put his hand up in the noise here. He can't call for the ball, so he's got to make a motion with his hand to get that football.
He's got to kick it from 53. Well, they'll call it officially, I believe, 52, but it's that long. Medlock for the win. And he's missed it. And they just have to get it out. And we'll go to overtime here as this epic playoff is not over yet, nor is the reign of the defending Grey Cup champions. First time this year we go to overtime, the 3rd consecutive playoff season. We've had an overtime game. Here are the rules of the mini games.
Well, they'll start with the ball on the 35-yard line, and then you, as a defending team, will have to match whatever is scored to keep the game continued. And we will continue until there's an outcome.
And importantly, an overtime change, you have to go for the 2-point convert. Last year, Saskatchewan beats BC in overtime. Year before, the Tiger Cats were beaten by the BC Lions.
Let's go back to why there was a delay of game penalty by the Hamilton Tiger Cats to push Justin Medlock back. Kevin Scott, the long snapper, hold it there. He cannot look up at the time clock. The holder, Jason Boltus, has got to signal with his left hand to get the ball as soon as he puts his hands up. And he really didn't do it. He didn't show Kevin Scott enough of that to get it in time. It's up to the holder to look at the 20-second clock and get that ball snapped.
Montreal won the toss, and Hamilton goes first. Kevin Glenn, Bakari Grant's got it inside the 5, and that rookie receiver has had a spectacular day.
And so has Kevin Glenn, because he stepped up to that throw, Chris, and puts nice touch on this football using the height advantage of Bakari Grant, who has had himself a game this afternoon. Up over the top and drop it in the bucket for Kevin Glenn. Look at this throw. Nice touch, but away from safety Jeff Heck.
32 yards, 7 catches, 131 yards, and a touchdown for Grant that will be on the highlight reel tonight. First and goal from inside the 4. Offside to the goal line, and as Thigpen in. No signal.
Hamilton thinks they've scored.
Well officiated game 2 by Kim Murphy's group.
And in our replays that we've gone to, and there's been some close calls there this afternoon.
Quentin Porter and the short yardage group is in. Second and goal from the 1. Porter scored from here. They'll try that lunge again. He walks in. And the Ticats take the advantage again.
Well, they put it on their defense.
But in overtime now, it might be decided, especially in a game like this, by the 2-point converts.
No question. It's mandatory to go for 2. So that's what Marcel Belfait is looking at his play sheet now. He's trying to find those 2-point conversion plays, and they'll have specific plays for 2-point conversion. Boy, Quentin Porter does a nice job running with his eyes there. Eyes up. So when the first hole that he wanted to hit wasn't there, he bounced it and punched it into the end zone to get the Ticats to 50.
And now the Alouettes need 2 scoring plays.
Kevin Glenn retreats, and he continues to retreat. The normal drop in a play like this is right about there. Watch Glenn keep retreating, keep retreating, keep retreating. Buy some more time. Doesn't let John Bowman get to him. And that gives Chris Williams at the other end enough time to spring free in behind Billy Parker and come up with his catch. But if Kevin Glenn doesn't retreat, doesn't have that pocket presence, he is sacked in the backfield. 2-point convert. And now Anthony Calvillo has to make 2 big plays. 1 to score and 1 to finish on the 2-pointer.
Hey, Chris. Come here.
96 points on the board. We saw this Hamilton team beat Montreal on Labor Day. We saw them dismantle Calgary and Moncton. We saw them end an 8-game winning streak for BC. So we knew they were capable. And they close it out here. Calvillo trying to stay alive. Downfield and flags fly as Brandon London's taken down. It'll be first and goal inside the 10. And Calvillo in trouble. And he's got to get up. If he can.
Calvillo wanted Jamel Richardson out of the backfield. He was taken initially by Luke Mullender, the defensive end. That's why he went back to Brandon London over the middle. Took a hit after the fact. But is this illegal contact or incidental contact? Because it looked like D. Webb and London tripped. Their feet got crossed.
Accidental pass interference. Hamilton, number 18. That is only a 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Okay, so they're going to have to back up here.
And that's what D. Webb got up arguing immediately. But here's the play down at the bottom. D. Webb up here. It's going to be the post, but this is the second read for Anthony Calvillo. He wanted Jamel Richardson out of the front side of the formation. That was covered. So he came back to the middle. There's the trip. And here's the hit on Anthony Calvillo. Luke Mullender after taking Jamel Richardson. A little bit late on AC.
But tracking the pressure on AC, he's been hit 5 times, hurried 6 times, sacked 3 times. First and 10 at the 25. Still a lot of work to do. Brandon Whitaker looks to get outside, and he'll get dragged down by the safety Carlos Thomas.
Whitaker went down awkwardly there, and I think he may be hurt.
So AC banged up, but now Brandon Whitaker both stay in. Three down football.
Over 500 yards passing.
And a big 2nd and 7. Pocket collapsing, gets it away. Delorier a catch. And down at the 17-yard line.
He's going to be a bit short.
Yep, we've got a 3rd down and a couple to go. 3rd and almost a full 2 yards for Scott Milanovich to keep it alive.
And Brandon Whitaker went down and he's in that huddle, but he was favoring that right groin.
Well, it's 3rd and 2, and Milt Collins comes in, and Robert Rose comes out, which might be a surprise.
No backs in the backfield.
But no backs in the backfield, so they've got to convert with the throw to keep it alive. It's incomplete, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats have ended the Grey Cup reign of the Montreal Alouettes and have advanced to the Eastern Final against the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. A spectacular day and a 2-year reign as the best team of the Canadian Football League is over. And the underachieving Tiger Cats have their biggest win and their first playoff victory under Marcel Belfait.